Hey everyone, it's Black Woman Farmer here, back again. This time, we have a very special guest. I met her in a private group for Black women who want to homestead and farm. We have Andrea who's with us, and she has a very important message for all of you. She is the creator of a website and um, a little pet sitting, farm sitting thing group that I was privy to about a week and a half ago. And I think you're going to love this, especially if you want to get your hands dirty and you want firsthand experience. Andrea is the woman for you. So, hi, Andrea.
Hey there. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be fire. So I can't wait to get started.
Same here.
So, so tell everyone who you are, the website that you have, the business that you have, and just basically introduce yourself.
Okay. So uh, I'm Andrea. I am on the south side of the United States. I live in the southern region. And my actual business, my background is in corporate America. I am a coach, a trainer, a facilitator, and I've spent most of my life, got the degrees and spent most of my life in corporate. And recently, last 4, 5, 6 years, I've really started feeling a back, call back to nature. I kind of phrase it that way. Um, I've wanted freedom that just didn't exist in the world that I created. So I started creating another world. So using my skills of training and teaching, but then also combining learning gardening and learning herbs, getting certified in herbalism and certified in water wellness. I'm actually a hydrotherapist as well. I've started to kind of live a more whole me, and you and I connected in me sharing some of what that looks like with other members of the group. The website that I shared is actually not mine, so I didn't create that. But I'm very active, and I do try to bring other Black women into that space because I think it's a very valuable resource. And I have been thinking about how we create a resource like that of our own, but it's not mine. I just created the group of women that I could train on how to use it.
Could you tell us what the website is about?
Sure. So the website is Trusted House Sitters, and I actually learned about the website in watching other YouTube videos and going to classes for women, Black women that were leaving the US and were looking for room and board and housing opportunities outside of the US. And I found out about Trusted House Sitters as a way that you could go and watch pets or watch homes. I've done sits where I've just watched, I've watered people's plants while they were away. And the sits are weekends, a week, 2 weeks. I've seen them up to 6 months. And so I was finding that there were Black women that wanted to explore other places, didn't want to have what goes along with having to deal with finding and securing housing. So they would use this site to go find a sit in Mexico and Argentina and Panama and Belize. And they would be there for 6 months at a time and then go to another location. And so I was like, I want to use this. I teach, and so I can't always just go somewhere and be somewhere for 4 to 6 months, but how can I use this to my advantage? And so what I started doing was looking for sits that had animals that I would one day want to have. I'm a city girl right now. I live in a townhouse. I don't have animals, but I would love to have chickens. I would love to have bees. I thought I wanted alpacas until I did an alpaca sit. But I would go do these sits and learn by being in the space. And I wasn't paying anything to learn, and I had free room and board so I could explore the area. and determine if this was a place that I actually could live if I wanted to live there in the future.
Nice. So tell me something.
Yeah.
What is it about alpacas that that you said this is not for me?
I love them, but anything that spits on me, I'm going to spit back on it. So we would just be out there not being good to each other. And no, but honestly, I love the idea of alpacas. I think they're beautiful creatures. Um, but at least in my immediate future, they would require a bit more of me being permanently in the space, and I travel a lot. Um, in the future, I'm hoping that I meet other women that if I want to go somewhere for 2 weeks or a month, just like on Trusted House Sitters, they can come and help me with my animals, and then I feel a bit more okay with having that type of livestock. But right now, it doesn't work well with the life that I'm creating.
So there's a lot of us that are feeling the call to come back to the land, and we just don't know where to start. We don't know what animals to start with. Um, One animal that works for one woman might not work for the other woman. So, according to your experience, what do you think would be the best and easiest animal for us to start out with?
Hmm. It's a great question. And to your point, you're absolutely right. There's no one right thing for everyone. Your tolerance, your living conditions, your availability, all of those things matter. Again, I live in a townhouse. I can't even have my garden on property because of HOA. I'll never do this again, by the way. But this is where I am. So I found a community garden plot. I started with a small one and now I'm in a large one. And I grow all of my herbs. I grow all of my root vegetables, my peppers, my turmeric, I grow all of those things myself now. And this is a way that I don't have to wait until I have acres to start growing and eating organically. So, start with what you have. You and I know that I am starting with my vermiculture uh, path. And so I'm going to start raising worms. I can do that from my townhouse. And we don't think about that as a traditional animal, but it is very much, worms are very much a living creature that are part of the environment, that are part of the life cycle that I am creating. And so I'm, starting there. I met a woman not too long ago who has some acreage. She lives not too far from me. And we've been talking about, she wants to get into bees. I want to get into bees. Maybe I can put a hive on her land that would allow me to expand that. So I'm just slowly adding what I can based on where I am, instead of saying, well, one day I'll have acres and I'll be able to do these things. I tell people to start with the resources that you have.
So, the type of homestead that I have is permaculture.
Hmm.
And for the audience who are not familiar with permaculture, basically I use my environment to my advantage. I also take what is traditionally seen as a negative and I turn it into something positive. And when we first got the property many, many moons ago,
Hmm.
the soil was just horrendous.
Mm.
And we had dead trees on the property. So we decided, okay, since the soil is a wonderful breeding ground for dandelion, I'm going to grow dandelion
I love that.
and lots of it.
Yes.
And it turns out that it was a really good, I guess it was a good result and a good solution because dandelions are one of the best quote
Absolutely.
unquote weeds that we can eat on a daily basis, including the root that you
Yes.
can use for coffee.
Hmm.
So I'm very, very much into using your environment and all of God's creatures so that we can get the things that we need. So I'm glad that you said that about worms because I would like to grow some red wrigglers.
Hmm.
And something that I'd like to do in the future, which a lot of people don't think about in farming, is you can actually farm insects and you can like freeze them and freeze dry them and dehydrate them. And there's a really big market out there for insects,
Yes.
for lizards, snakes, chickens, and all kinds of things. So listen, everyone, if you need information on worms, you better call Andrea. She knows exactly what she's doing. So, you know, it's so important as Black women that we team up together and we take good care of each other because the state of America right now is not very good. And it's something that I think about all the time. And I talk about it constantly in my private groups.
Mm.
Um, what are some of the things that we should be doing right now as Black women? What should we be doing?
It's a great question. I am of the mindset that community is absolutely everything. And one of the reasons why so many of us are not pursuing community is because we have believed that the color of your skin makes your community. And that's not the totality of what community is. Community is also your values, how you live, your beliefs. And so I'm encouraging, and one of the things that I'm doing, I'm not just telling other people to do this, but I am really encouraging people to seek and find community. Find women that align with your values, find women that you can barter and trade with. The US dollar is plummeting. The value of the dollar is plummeting. And we have been made to believe that the US dollar is everything. And the more dollars you have, the richer you are. But understanding your real resources and collaborating with women that you can share resources with, that is how will survive this next wave.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Um, I think that the next wave is going to come this year.
Mhm.
I feel like there's something in the air and the atmosphere is just ripe for something to happen this year. So it's important that we start, you know, what's that old African proverb? Each one teach one.
Yes. Yes.
And and try to seek out people who share something familiar with you and build from that.
And I've been having these conversations, Sasha, and there is a divine knowing that we all have. I can speak to a woman just for a few moments, and my cells know, even if my brain doesn't know what it is, my DNA, my cells know that she is supposed to be in my proximity, in my atmosphere. And if you can get through the muck and learn to listen to your intuition, your body, your cells, whatever you call it, you'll know she's your person, you know. And I believe that we all have these tribes of women that we've been disconnected from through everything, social media, TV, like all the stuff that people put out there to disconnect us. But when we reconnect, we are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Whoo, that's what I've been saying.
Really.
Yes, that's what I've been saying. So tell us a little bit more about what you do on the side. You mentioned hydrotherapy, was it?
Hmm.
Okay, what exactly is it and how is it beneficial?
Hydrotherapy is the study of water and how water can create or can allow for wellness with the human mind, body, and spirit. I am a believer that water is an extremely powerful resource that has systematically been taken away from us, our knowledge of the use of water. When I look back at indigenous people, they honored and respected water. They spoke to water. They sat with water. They understood the power that water had in our lives. We, especially Black women, are taught to run from water. Don't get your hair wet. Don't spend too much time here, and don't. It's taking us away from our power. So I have been studying through multiple resources, because you're not going to get this from one resource, right? But I've been studying how to incorporate water wellness. And it can be anything from for stress and anxiety to physical ailments, the use of water, the use of water in herb, the use of water in affirmation, um, to free the body, mind, and spirit of sickness.
Mm. Do you believe that if you meditate over water and you drink it, your body will absorb that energy?
I do. And I believe that we do that knowingly and unknowingly. So it's important that we learn to know it and do it. Water is definitely a vehicle that carries messages. And so if we are intentional about affirming positively over our water and then drinking the water, or I will catch rainwater and affirm in the rainwater and then pour some of that in my bath and sit in the tub and allow that, because your skin is your largest organ. So allow those affirmations and allow that to come into me and remind my body when my body's tired or sore, or, maybe I've been hurt by a person, a friend, or something like that. I use that water and those affirmations to heal me.
Did you ever see that study that was done like maybe decades ago, where this guy had 2 glasses of water, and in one glass on the opposite side of the room, he had the other glass, right? So he told this one glass how pretty it was and how much he needed it, and he loved the water, and the water is his friend, and that water stayed clean and fresh without a drop of mildew for weeks and weeks and weeks. And on the opposite side of the room, he told that other glass that he hated it
Yeah.
and it was ugly and disgusting, and he wished the water could die. And within a couple of days, that water turned black and it was filled with mold and this weird sludge, and he didn't know where it came from. So, what you're saying has the ring of truth to it.
I have heard that story. And when I heard that story, two things. One, I did look into that research, and that is a real study, but two things that were very evident to me after learning about this. One is water internalizing and holding language, right? Holding words, holding feeling, holding expression, and then showing us that expression. So that helped me understand water as a vehicle. But two, the godlike power of the tongue, that what is created through what we say. It wasn't just the water acting on its own. It was you speaking into this water and creating a reality that did not exist until you use those words. And I that is a huge, powerful reminder for me that, I didn't have to say, God, strike this water down and like wait for some being in the sky to do something. He was able to speak directly into the water and shift and change it. And that's an ability that we all have.
Mm. You know, I had an interview a couple of weeks ago with this woman named Mocha Gypsy,
Okay.
and she said something. She and I talk often,
Okay.
and she told me a couple of things that stuck with me. And one thing that she said to me was about the Satan force.
Mm.
And Satan is an obstacle maker. That's what Satan is. It's a title. And like how Christ means the anointed one, Well, Satan is an adversary. It's an obstacle, and the reason why the Satan force exists on this plane. And the second thing she said to me was, the power of the tongue has the ability to cure, and it has the ability to curse. And when
Yes.
someone keeps speaking negatively over you again and again and again, it turns into a curse
Hmm.
because they're using their tongue and their throat chakra in a negative way up against you. They are actually creating an adversarial spirit against you, and that turns into a curse. And that's why some people have bad luck, like all the time, because they've been cursed.
Hmm.
So it's funny how the two of you are saying the exact same thing.
I'm going to have to follow her now that you've given me her name.
I will send you her link.
Okay.
Um, she's coming back on the show in a couple of weeks, and she's going to be reading an excerpt from her blog about the matriarch
Mm,
and about how the great mother has returned and what that's going to mean for us as her daughters. So that's going to be a really good show.
I love that. Can't wait.
So, so tell us, how can we get in touch with you, Andrea? I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge. You're building such wonderful things behind the scenes. How can we reach out to you and get in touch with you so that we can do some pet sitting, we can do some hydrotherapy if we're in your area? How do people find you?
Yeah. So the good thing about the hydrotherapy piece is that you don't have to be in proximity to me to learn hydrotherapy or to receive services. I've worked with individuals remotely where I will, tell them what they need to gather or even send them different herbs and salts and oils so that they can create their own rituals. Um, a great place to find me right now is Drea in the Water, Drea in the Water on Instagram. That's where I share a lot of indigenous ancestral knowledge around water. And I also share knowledge of practical modern tips around water. I did have a website and I stopped feeding that, so that's not there yet. But once it's up and operating again, I'll come back and I'll share that resource with you. And then also on Instagram, another Instagram site that I have, I operate them separately, is just my name. It's Andrea Holyfield. And that's where I do consultations for people that are wanting to create more freedom in their career. They're wanting to learn how to sit, they're wanting to learn how to build income outside of their 9 to 5. They're wanting to plan for escaping the matrix and getting out of these systems. I personally believe that every single system in the United States is designed to oppress. And so, if we are going to live here, we need to make sure that we have our own support systems to counter the oppression that happens in our day to day system. So, I do consultations and coaching around that as well.
Excellent. You know, this, first of all, I just want to say America is not a country, it's a corporation.
Mm,
And that's the reason why when you get letters and bills in the mail, all of your letters in your name are capitalized because that's your straw man.
yeah.
So, yeah, and you're on the stock market. We
Mm,
all are on the stock market, and that's why you have a birth certificate.
mm,
So, I truly feel like escaping the matrix is not going to be a physical thing, it's going to be mental.
yeah.
And the only way that we're going to get out of this prison, and it is a prison
Mm,
because the food is bad. I
yeah.
I used to be so sick. I used to be really sick until I started growing my own food.
Hmm.
And I used to just buy stuff at the supermarket, and I was bloated, and I had headaches, insomnia, my belly was all torn up, just a real mess. And then I began to grow my own food, raise my own chickens for eggs and meat and broth.
Hmm.
I bake professionally now. I've got clients. And ever since I took control over this one tiny thing, which is the food, as much control as I can,
Right.
I got healthier. I feel better. I'm less depressed,
Mm,
if that makes sense.
it does.
Um, I'm sleeping better, less anxiety. And it's funny because once I went back to the earth, God blessed me, and I'm having all of these experiences where women like yourself are just popping up in my life, literally falling out of the sky,
I feel the same way.
out of nowhere. I'm just meeting all of these exquisite women. And it's like once my mind got clear, I feel like there's a secret intelligence that's connecting all of us together. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
I love that. I 100% agree with that. And, you know, what's the saying? He who controls the food controls the man, or something like that. And you taking back control over what you're putting into your body. I just had a conversation with my mom. My mom is 82. And I just had a conversation with my mom, and we were talking about the fact that our bodies were not meant to process this mess that they're calling food. And so our bodies are constantly working to deal with the poison that we're putting in it all day, every day. And then we say, I don't know why I'm so tired. I don't know why I feel depressed, or I don't know why, I'm sore, my muscles are, we don't understand why our bodies are showing us, the symptoms of the poison. We're literally being poisoned, and our
Yeah.
bodies are just communicating with us. So I love that you said, I took control of this one thing. I listened to my body, I took control, and now I can feel the evidence of that. And I think most of us, more of us, need to do that. And I'm hearing it. I know you're hearing it as well. Like I said, I'm a city girl. I'm in a townhouse, but I'm out there every day in that garden, and so are other women out there with me in that community garden. And we're feeling that call. We know we need to be out there. It's not like a fun little habit. We know we need to be out there growing our food. We know we
Mm.
need to be out there in the sun. It rained the other day, and we were out there in the rain still, like getting our hair wet and letting nature, sink into our bodies. We know it. We feel that call.
Yes. I'm so glad I met you. You have no idea. And I truly feel like a doorway has been opened, and we're going to meet more like-minded women who also are answering the call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything at all that you would like to close out with, or anything that you want to tell the audience?
I want to thank you, Sasha, I'm sorry. Thank you for, being open to having me on your channel, seeing value in what I'm doing at this point, because I often say, well, I'm not there yet. And you see value in what I'm doing. And I'm looking forward to continuing to support you and watching how we grow, you and I individually, as well as the community that's being created.
Excellent. Ah, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Um, this channel is new, but we are growing together. And I had a talk with this woman a long time ago, and I think the name of her business is Lifting as We Climb.
Mm.
I think that's what she called herself, lifting as we climb.
Mhm.
And I like that. I like the idea of lifting up other women as we climb. So that's what we're going to continue to do step by step.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you too. All right, everyone. This is Black Woman Farmer signing off. Remember, each one teach one. You can take control over one tiny thing in your life. You don't have to be a slave to the beast in every aspect of your life. It all starts with planting a garden, drinking your water, speaking into your water, and then drinking it like Andrea suggests. And I will see you soon with another interview. All right, take care, guys.
Bye bye.
These pancakes are really good. I might have to order some more from you. Like they have the perfect amount of crisp, the perfect amount of fluff. These are fire. Thanks.
There you have it. Chrissy endorsed only at Black Woman Farmer on Etsy.com.